Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. Today our adventuring party enters a very strange room with a sponge-like wall. Now hanging on this wall is the rear end of a taxidermied cat and half of a treasure chest. Now this wall has a sponge-like texture, and in fact they're able to stick their arm all the way through it, and they can tell that there is a secret room on the other side of the wall. Now this is a room that was printed in Treacherous Traps by Chris Markham for the Genesys system. You can find that on DriveThruRPG, and I will put a link in the description below. And before we get started with our puzzle, just a reminder that if you like the content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button and be sure to pick up a copy of my book, Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters, available now on DriveThruRPG. Now let's get started with the puzzle video. So in this puzzle, our adventuring party enter the room through this door over here. Now once they are all inside, this door is going to slam shut behind them, and it's going to become magically sealed. Now this door may look wooden, but it is actually as hard as metal, so it can't be broken down. Now if our sorceress wants to attempt to cast a Dispel Magic, I would probably allow that with a certain DC with the Arcana along with a Dispel Magic spell, and if it does succeed, then I will allow the door to be reopened. But it's only going to reopen for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then it's going to slam shut again. You'll be able to enter from the outside coming into the room, but once again you won't be able to exit the room. Now this is the only door to the room, but there is another way to exit, and that's going to involve our puzzle. So the most peculiar part about this room is going to be this wall over here. Now these other three rooms are going to be as solid as stone and normal walls that are very thick. However, our wall over here is going to be a bit different. So let's say our paladin comes over to inspect this wall. It's going to have a spongy type feel if he were to put his hand on it. Now if he wanted to press further, he can actually start pushing his hand through the wall, and in fact he can push his arm all the way through the wall and he will feel some resistance, but eventually he will feel like his hand has reached the other side and that there is a secret room on the other side of this wall. Now he is able to pull his hand out of this wall with no issues whatsoever. But looking about, does he really want to try anything else? Because there's some weird stuff going on with this wall. Perhaps the most peculiar is this taxidermy hind end of a cat that is sticking out of the wall. Around it is a brown plaque with a gold plate underneath, and the gold plate is written in Dwarvish or in Dwarvish runes. Now if you have anyone that can translate that, that is actually going to read the word ducky. So it would be safe to assume on the characters portion that this cat's name was Ducky, and it is now mounted to this wall. Now there's some other strange things. Let's say our sorceress comes over here to investigate the treasure chest. This treasure chest, it looks like half of it is there and the other half would be on the other side of the wall. Now this top can be removed and the inside is just the same. There may be a few coins for her to grab, but there are also a few coins that are cut in half and embedded into the wall. Very strange indeed. And then finally, let's say our fighter comes over here and looks. There is a half of a skeleton. It looks like the other half could possibly be on the other side of the wall. And I would probably just make this a normal skeleton, perhaps someone that was trying to go through the wall and didn't make it and got stuck. Or you could make this some type of undead. I think it'd be a lot of fun to have just this half of a skeleton that is stuck here with the other half of its body on the other side of the wall, but will try to swing its sword at anyone that's around them at disadvantage. Now let's take a break from the wall a little bit and take a look at this shelf over here. Now this is an entire shelf of knickknacks, and it's going to have a lot of trinkets on it. Now what exactly is on there is going to be for you, the dungeon master, to decide, but I'll give you a rundown of the trinkets that are on this shelf as laid out in the puzzle. Our gnome is going to find these knickknacks a bit interesting because they too are cut in half. It looks like the other half of each of these trinkets are missing, and they are from top to bottom: a cat, a dragon, a bottle, a bird, a duck, a mushroom, a lamp, a gnome, and a pig. And again, only half of these trinkets are on the shelf. If our adventurers want to take some time to search around the rest of the room, unfortunately they're not going to find the other half of these objects. Now finally, let's come back to our phasing wall. Again, this is going to be the main portion of our puzzle. Our players and our characters have probably figured out that there is a room on the other side, and to continue they must go through this wall. So let's say our paladin takes a chance, and again he is able to reach his hand and arm all the way up to his shoulder through the wall and pull it back with no issues. So let's say he decides that he can walk through this wall, and he's going to be able to succeed about halfway. Once he gets halfway into the wall, that is where his torso and his head enter, then he is going to become stuck and he's not going to be able to proceed any further. At this point, our paladin is going to start to suffocate. Now while he's suffocating here, he can try to back out of the wall, but that's going to require an athletics check of a DC 15. If our paladin fails this check, he's going to become stuck in this wall and he's not going to be able to get out or be pulled out, and he's going to start taking damage every few seconds from the suffocation of the wall. So with everything that has presented with the wall, the knickknacks, and the items that are stuck in the wall, do you know how to solve this puzzle? I'll give you a second if you'd like to figure it out. Did you get it? Great. Let's go over the answer. Well, the answer is actually going to be revolving around the hind end of our cat trophy, the cat ass trophy. Now, this here has a gold plaque underneath of it that reads the word ducky, and this is written in Dwarven or in Dwarvish runes, and again, you can make that fit however you see in your game. So if you want to change the language or just have it in common, that's entirely up to you. But the name of the cat ducky is actually a clue to the object that you're going to need to be able to get through the wall, and that is going to be our duck. So let's say our gnome grabs the half of a duck trinket and takes it up to the wall. They're able to actually walk through the wall as long as they have the duck in hand. Now that our gnome is on the other side, he is able to pass that other half of the duck back through the wall to the next person. Let's say he gives it to our sorceress. Now the sorceress has the half of a duck in her hand, and she too is able to phase through the wall. And then, of course, our fighter can do the same. Our sorceress can pass the duck back through the wall. Our fighter grabs it and is able to walk through. Now, of course, if we have anyone that is stuck in the wall, then we can have someone from the other side give them a hand or possibly pass the duck halfway through the wall to meet this stuck person there. They'll be able to grab the duck. They will become freed from this trap and able to move again, and they too can finish walking through the wall. So this is a very intriguing puzzle that I think could lean very well into the player's paranoia. It seems very easy to solve. There's a plaque that says ducky that's underneath a cat. There's a half of a duck trinket that's on the knickknack shelf. You hold that, you walk through, and you're going to be just fine. But if one of the adventurers gets stuck in that wall first and starts to suffocate, or is suffocating when they're trying to find the answer, then the players themselves may have a little bit of paranoia. Sure, you can take that duck and try to walk through the wall, but is that going to work? Or are you going to end up like your barbarian friend over there who's muffling inside the sound of the walls of the sponge wall trying to breathe? Now, if you want your characters to explore the dungeon a little bit more, perhaps that gold plate that's supposed to go underneath the tail end of the cat is missing. And in fact, I wouldn't even bother with locking the door behind them when they come into this room. Allow the characters to search it and play with the sponge wall all as they see fit. But eventually they're probably going to have to leave, explore some more, and eventually they'll find the gold plaque that says ducky. At that point, hopefully it'll click and they'll be able to go back into the room and walk through the wall into the secret room. So this was the cat ass trophy puzzle, or Catasstrophy, or however you want to pronounce it. This was written by Chris Markham and published in his PDF, Treacherous Traps. Now this is designed to be working with the Genesys system, which is very similar to the Star Wars system with regards to narrative dice and things of that nature, but you can do just like I did, and you can take these ideas and put it in whatever system that you play, whether that's Pathfinder, 5th edition D&D, or some other TTRPG. It is at a very low price, and I highly encourage you to at least take a look at it. I will put a link to it in the description below. So that's all I have for you today. What did you think of the puzzle? Is this something that you could use in your game? And if so, what would you do differently? Be sure to leave a comment below and let's get a discussion going. Thank you very much for watching, and on to the next.